In this lesson, we will look at the redox reaction. So before studying the term redox reaction, we need to understand what is meant by oxidation and reduction. So we have four definitions of oxidation in terms of electrons, in terms of hydrogen, oxygen, and oxidation number. So let's look at the oxidation in terms of electron firstly. So what is oxidation? Oxidation means loss of electron and reduction means gain of electron. I'm talking about oxidation in terms of electron, okay? So for example, sodium is going to lose its one electron, and it becomes sodium 1 plus. So this sodium is being oxidized. In other words, you can say that sodium is losing electrons, so there is oxidation you can observe over here, okay? But you can't say that this is doing oxidation. You have to say that the sodium is being oxidized, okay? This is the right sentence. So oxidation means loss of electron and reduction means gain of electron. For example, we have chlorine and it is gaining electron and it becomes Cl1 minus. So this chlorine species is being reduced, okay, because it is gaining electron. So we have learned this definition that the oxidation in terms of electron means loss of electron is the oxidation, gain of electron is called reduction in terms of electron. Now let's talk about the oxidation and reduction in terms of hydrogen. So loss of hydrogen is called oxidation and gain of hydrogen is called reduction. And oxidation in terms of oxygen. So oxidation in terms of oxygen is basically gain of oxygen is called oxidation and loss of oxygen is called reduction, okay? And oxidation in terms of oxidation number. So firstly, we need to understand what is meant by oxidation number and then we can understand this definition. But right now we just learned by heart this definition. Oxidation means increase in oxidation number and reduction means decrease in oxidation number, okay? Again, oxidation means increase in oxidation number, reduction means decrease in oxidation number. Now let's look at the example. Before studying the example, we need to understand what is meant by redox reaction. So redox reaction is the reaction in which oxidation and reduction takes place at the same time in the same reaction. Okay, I'm going to repeat it again. Redox reaction is the reaction in which oxidation and reduction takes place at the same time in the same reaction. So this is the example of redox reaction. You can see that the copper oxide is losing its oxygen and hydrogen is gaining oxygen. So when copper oxide loses its oxygen, you can see copper oxide become copper and hydrogen is gaining oxygen, so it become water, okay? Since copper oxide is losing oxygen, so we can say that the copper oxide is being reduced and hydrogen is being oxidized. Gain of oxygen is called oxidation and loss of oxygen is called reduction. And oxidation and reduction is happening at the same time in the same reaction, so we can say that this is the redox reaction, okay? This is the redox reaction because copper oxide is being reduced and the hydrogen is oxidized. So in the same reaction, one species is being oxidized and the other species is being reduced. So we can say that this is the redox reaction.